In the previous session, we have completed review of financial statements and interim financial information. So one, engagement to review historical financial statements we did, and review of interim financial information performed by independent auditor of an entity, that we completed. Now we'll focus on specialized areas. In the specialized areas, like I'll directly go to that concerned page. See, if you observe, there are three standards that were incorporated as part of this chapter. So SA 800, 805, 810. 810 is dealing with audit of summary financial statements. Audit of summary financial statements are nothing but engagements to report on summary financial statements. Whereas 805 dealing with audits of single financial statement, specific element, account or item of the financial statement. And special purpose framework related financial statements, if at all we are doing audit, 800 will apply. And if at all, if the single financial statement, specific element, account item or the financial statement or a summary financial statement, if at all they are prepared using special purpose framework, then 800 also we apply there. Getting it? Now these summary financial statements may be prepared using a general purpose framework, or understand this summary means it is not the main financial. Summary financial statements will have same characteristics like the main financial. If main financial statements, actually in main financial statement is called as, I think, audited financial statements. They refer the word as what? Audited financial statements. If audited financial statements are general purpose, then summary financials are also obviously general purpose. And if they are special purpose, same way, special purpose, summary financials also. Now, these three standards collectively talk about, if at all we were approached by anybody not to audit complete set of the financial statements, not to audit general purpose financial statements of complete set, what are the special considerations we should take into account? So that is what in these three standards they are answering specifically. Getting it? So first in this note, let's begin with 810. First we'll begin with 810. Now there are certain terms that you need to understand before we begin 810. What is 810 is dealing with engagements to report on summary financial statements. So here they refer this word summary financial statements, date of auditor's report on summary financial statements. So summary financial statements, date of audit report on summary financial statements. Just a minute. Yeah. Summary financials and date of audit report on summary financial statements. And we have audited financial statements, which can also be referred as complete set of financial statements, which can also be referred as complete set of the financials. See the word complete set of financial statements, CSFS, complete set of financial statements. This word is mainly referred in the context of 805. Because in 805 only we are talking about single financial statement. We are not talking about complete set. So there, wherever they are using the word single financial statements to compare with the main financials, they use the word complete set of the financial statements. Whereas here, in the context of summary financial statements, how the complete set is referred as actually audited financials. In 810, the same general purpose financial statements or complete set of the financial statements are called as what? AFS. Whereas in 805, the same is referred as what? Complete set of the financial statements. Clear? Now this audited financials or complete set financials may be a general purpose framework or may be prepared using special purpose framework. If at all the complete set or audited financial statements that we are talking about in 805 and 810, if at all they are used, if at all they are prepared using special purpose financial statements, then 800 is also applied. So that's a basic overview. That's a basic overview. Now let's begin this 810 before I go to remaining. So when we can accept an engagement to report on summary financial statements. First of all, the name itself says it's not complete set, it's only a summary. We also call them as sometimes condensed financial statements. We also call them as abridged financial statements, or we can also call them as financial summary, some cases. But financial summary is not a financial statement. If the summary is presented in the form of a financial statement, getting it, then we call it a summary financial statement. The financial statement will have same format like Schedule 3, all the same. If a bank is preparing in the same format, it will be there. Just that summary financial statements will not contain as many details as the audited financial statements. Here it is referred as what? Audited financial statements. In 810, popularly referred as audited financials. Now in this, the challenging thing is what? It's about the opinion. First you need to understand how the opinion on the summary financial statements we give. Like how we give the opinion on summary financial statements. Fine, I'll open that, I have made a diagram. So earlier itself, so which I have used in regular class, a small diagram just to, so just to give a comparison sake, I have made it. So this is the reporting overview. Just a minute. I saved in review, it's okay. So reporting in audit report on summary financial statements. In 810, this is the point which many don't understand. Now, first of all, understand on summary financial statements, how we should give opinion. What opinion we should give? That is the important thing. In summary financial statements, we don't do a separate audit. We can only do, you see the heading itself, there is no specific point called audit of summary financials. They just use the word report on summary financial statements. Engagements to report on summary financials means we don't do audit. Whereas you see in 800, 805, they use the word exclusively audit. Audit of special purpose financial statements prepared in accordance with special purpose framework. Audit of single financial statement, specific element or item or account of the financial statement, they use the word audit. Whereas in 810, they didn't use the word audit because we don't do audit separately on summary financials. We just verify whether the so-called summary financial statements are they true summary of main financial statements. Suppose I prepared a main book. You want some running short notes or chart book, something. It is only a summary from the main book, right? Now, if you have to give whether the summary, short notes is correct or not, what you will do? Will you verify short book, on its own, or you compare it with the main book? This is what we do in audit. The summary financial statements, when we have to report on, we compare with the audited financial statements, which is actually the complete set, which may be general purpose or which may be special purpose, whatever it is. From that, we took a summary. Whether they are consistent or not, we should report. The objective of reporting is what? Whether they are consistent or not. Consistent, whether summary financial statements are consistent with audited financials. Suppose if summary financial statements are consistent. Now what should I give? In the report I'm giving, right, in 810, what should I mention? Suppose in the audited financial statements we gave unmodified opinion. On summary financial statements also we give which opinion? Unmodified opinion. These are illustration numbers which are given in 810 pronouncement. In 810 original PDF, these are the illustrations which are given for these scenarios. You can look into that later. Just observe this. This is more than enough. Maybe I'll show one illustration. That's enough. Suppose You verified summary financial statements, you compared with audited financial statements, and you concluded they are not consistent. You concluded that they are not consistent. You directly give adverse opinion in the audit report on summary financials. We directly mention summary financial statements are not a fair summary. They are not a fair summary of audited financial statements. Suppose if summary financial statements are consistent in all parameters with the audited financials, just that it gives summarized nature of information. For example, it will give trade receivables of how much secured, how much unsecured, how much. Example, loans in advance secured, how much unsecured, aging analysis and all they don't give, because it's summary, not a detailed financials. You want to know detailed, go with audited financials. So if they are consistent with audited financials, in the audit report we mention unmodified opinion. We give straight away in the opinion section, the summary financial statements are a fair summary of audited financial statements. Suppose on audited financial statements, we modified the report. Actually, they actually talk about modified report. If the auditor has expressed, if the auditor has reported other than an unmodified report, or if auditor has reported a modified opinion in audited financials, like how it is modified, either qualified opinion is given or highlighted with emphasis of matter or other matter paragraph. On summary financials, you will say that they are a fair summary. You will give unqualified only, but we will describe whatever qualification, emphasis, other matter paragraph given in the main audit report, right? The same as it is, we will mention it in the opinion section in the audit report on summary financials. We don't modify the opinion. Here we give only two opinions. Are they consistent or are they not consistent? That's it. Are they consistent or not consistent? If they are consistent, you say that they are a fair summary. If they are not consistent, you say that they are not a fair summary. Are you getting it? And when you are saying they are consistent, they are a fair summary, you can rely on summary financial statements and take a decisions. If you don't have time to read complete set, so you can rely on this because they are consistent with the main financial statement. We are saying consistent, but remember, in the main financials, we have given qualified opinion, we have given emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph. So just make a note of it. Such a kind of observation we are giving in where? Summary financial statements related audit report. Suppose the crux is in this. Suppose on the main financial statements, or we call the actual term is audited financial statements, if auditor has given an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion in the audit report on audited financial statements, we deny our opinion on summary financial statements. If the audited financial, but remember, by the way, summary financials are consistent with audited. They're exactly matching with audited. The point is, audited financials itself is not true and fair. On audited financials itself, you didn't give opinion. When I have not given opinion, when the main financials itself is bad, you are asking me whether it's consistent or not. Why should I tell you whether it's consistent? First, I will say that it's bad. Yes or no? So when main financial statements, we give an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion, we deny the opinion on summary financial statements. We don't give an opinion on summary. Remember, if I say that summary financials are a fair summary of main financial statements, you may not understand that. Main financials are absolutely wrong. Main financials are absolutely wrong. See, if I say main financials are audited, summary financials are also, they're derived from that. Whereas main financials are not at all true and fair. But here the standard is asking whether it's consistent or not. If I say consistent, you may skip main financials. You only believe you only take decisions based on summary financials. Of course, in the summary financial statements, opinion section, inside that I will talk about that adverse opinion, disclaimer, fine. The point is, how do I know that you'll read it? See, if at all on the audited financials, qualified opinion is given, okay, fine, I understand. Qualified is not a big deal because positive opinion at the end of it is a positive opinion with an exception. I will say they both are matching, consistent, but remember this observation is there. But what is the point? I mean, what is the guarantee that people will read that observation? They only see two lines, consistent, okay, they take a decision. So, if audited financials on which we have given an adverse opinion or we could not give an opinion, on summary financial statements, we will not give an opinion. For a safer decision making of the user of the summary financials. Because you have not given an opinion, you have said everything is bad in the main financials. And even you have not given an opinion on the audited financials. Don't give opinion on the summary financials, because if you give an opinion on the summary financials which are derived from the audited financials, which are not true and fair, or on which you have not given opinion, people may just read a few lines of the audit report on the summary financial statement and may conclude that they both are matching, so they take a decision, ignoring the fact that the audited financials are not at all true and fair, ignoring the fact that we didn't audit the audited financials. So the standard initial construction is logical, very good. So how to report on summary? Are they consistent or not? You have to report, that's it. But when in audited financials we have given an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion, better not to give an opinion. Understand the logic behind this? That's it. If you understand this, standard is over more than 50%. Getting it? Now let's look at, so what is there? What is there within this? So summary financial statements are what? They reflect historical financial information, and you are deriving it from financial statements, but that contains less detail than the financial statements, while still providing a structured representation consistent with that provided by financials of the entity's economic resources or obligations at a point in time, or changes therein over a period of time. Actually, financial statements definition I gave in the first chapter. There itself I have covered. Financial statements means, financial statements refers to a structured representation of historical financial information of an entity, including related notes, intended to communicate entity's economic resources or obligations at a point in time or over a period of time, which are prepared in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework. This is the definition for the financial statements, meaning of the financial statements. So what they said very simple. They said very simple. What these financials are communicating? They communicate resources, nothing but incomes and assets, obligations, nothing but expense and liabilities at a point in time as at 31st March, or changes therein for a period of time for the period ended 31st March. So they are talking about P&L, balance sheet, all these items. Next. Now, can an auditor accept a report? Can an auditor accept an engagement to report on summary? Yes, absolutely you can accept, provided you are the one who audited the audited financial statements. The audited financials are audited by you. Only you can report on summary financial statements. If you have not audited the main financial statements, you cannot report on the summary financials, because reporting on summary financial statements requires you to compare whether is it consistent with audited financial statements, and you need to give opinions on that. Without without you being audited, how it is possible? Getting the point? So the logic is very simple. If the auditor has not audited the financials from which the summary financials are derived, the auditor shall not have necessary knowledge to discharge responsibilities in relation to this engagement, and hence you shall not accept this. So before accepting an engagement to report on summary, you need to check on what basis the summary financial statements are prepared. Just a minute. So fine. Determining acceptability of applied criteria. So on what basis they prepared summary financial statements? What criteria they have used? Criteria here, matlab, it's not financial reporting frame. You are giving less details. Right? For giving less details, to what extent you are giving lesser details? Is there any criteria on that given by law or regulator or any standard setting organization? That we need to see. Getting the point? And management is responsible for the criteria, right? On what basis summary financials have to be prepared? Who is responsible for? Management is responsible, absolutely. Correct? So management is responsible for the criteria. And remember, because summary financials contains only a basic summary, you should ensure that they are not misleading by omitting important information. In complete set of the financial statements, you are giving a detailed information. People can take a proper decision by interpreting that complete information. But summary, by their nature, contains less detailed information. So you need to check whether they are not misleading or not. Especially the risk that summary financial statements will be misleading increases where there is no framework, where there is no established criteria for the financial statement, summary financials. Now in India, there is no framework for summary financials. There is no established framework. Is there any section that says regarding summary financials? probably in Companies Act, I think a holding company has to give information about material subsidiaries within the consolidated financials, some information where they give what is the net capital, what is the share capital, what is the net owned funds, like nothing but net worth, which includes reserves and surplus, all that. Fixed assets are how much, current assets are how much, investments how much, obligations how much, borrowings, and you need that the company has to disclose income, turnover how much, all operating expenses how much, and PBT, PAT how much. This is a summary of subsidiary companies' financial statements. You know this? You know this? In Companies Act, holding company has to present this much information within the consolidated financial statements about subsidiaries. Basic information. So maybe that is giving a little idea about subsidiary. And of course, in the notes to accounts, we'll mention detailed interpretation about subsidiary company results. For that purpose, you have to watch subsidiary financial, you have to read subsidiary financial statements. That's what they'll mention. Next. Now, whether, okay, fine, if there is no established criteria, management only designed a criteria and prepared a summary financial statements for some particular purpose. The summary financials are prepared for, of course, anybody, investors' purpose, or company is planning to go with merger, company is being acquired by another entity. So many reasons. So the user wants the summary financial statements for quicker interpretation. So look at the user requirement. What is the requirement of the user? What is the information need of the user? You check it. Depending upon that, you can decide what are the factors affecting applied criteria. So whether the criteria used by the management, is it acceptable in the context of summary? Here criteria means what? Once again I'm telling, what to be included in summary. For that, what is the basis? Summary means fine, you will include lesser information. Fine, which information you will include? For that, if there is any guiding rule, any established standard, happy. Because it's an established protocol, established standard, everybody follows the same. So there's a general expectation that people will understand. What if there is no established criteria for summary? That case, whether the summary financial statements are prepared using some logic criteria, whether that logic or criteria is tenable, acceptable, depends upon nature of the entity. Depends upon why are they preparing summary financials, for whose purpose. Information needs of the intended users. So what is the user's requirement? And whether applied criteria will result in summary financial statements that are not misleading. Straight question, 4 marks. What are the factors affecting? And I'm telling you, this is an important question. What are the factors? Because this is something like very important in the entire standard. This and reporting, whatever I told, the diagram. That diagram, don't remember is a diagram, but understand that. Okay. So what are the factors affecting determination of summary financials? Nature of the entity, purpose, information needs of the users, and whether they are misleading or not. That you need to check. Next. And most of the times, the criteria must be, it is not maybe, it is must be similar to the criteria that is established for main financials, nothing but applicable financial reporting framework used for audited financials. The criteria of summary sometimes may be established by an authorized or recognized standard setting organization. For example, we have received a grant from the government and ours is an NPO. The government has given certain conditions in the contract for spending the grant. So we need to spend the grant amount as per the conditions given in the grant agreement. Now government want to know whether we spent the grant properly or not. They asked us to prepare financial statements as per rules given in the grant letter. That's a special purpose financials. And as per that grant letter, I prepared the big financial statements. It comes so bulky, 50-60 pages, it financials. After we submitted that, the same government official asked, sir, can you make a summary on it? And for that also he has given a summary rules, which must be included, what not to be included. So he has given a rules also. And here, the requirement of the user is clearly visible. Getting the point? Or he has told me, sir, you prepare financial statements on grant spending as per standards applicable to NPO. For example, for NGOs and NPOs, some standards were established by an NPO related accounting standards body. There's a separate accounting standards body for NPO. Example I'm telling you. It can be there. So follow that standard, sir, and prepare financial statements. That is called a standard. That is called recognized standard setting organization. Suppose for general purpose financial statements, standard setting organization which is recognized is accounting standards board. So the auditor may presume that such a criteria is acceptable. If at all there is an established criteria from standard setting organization, we by default assume that it is acceptable because it is coming from a valid source. Where established criteria do not exceed, management will develop the criteria, getting it based on a practice in a particular industry. Suppose if summary financial statements are prepared using unacceptable criteria, you felt it is not at all acceptable in light of information needs of the users. You know what is a user requirement, but I know very well that summary financials will not give the user that information what they want. So the criteria using which summary is prepared is not useful for users of the financial statements. I will not accept, auditors shall not accept the engagement unless it is mandatory. Suppose because it is mandatory under a law, because it is mandatory under a regulation, if at all you are doing in accordance with that law, which do not comply with this SCA, getting it? Which do not comply with this SCA, getting it? Accordingly, summary financial statements related audit report shall not indicate that engagement was conducted in accordance with this SCA, because you are doing engagement there in accordance with the law, even though the criteria is not acceptable. Remember, SCA 810 permits auditor to audit as per SCA 810 only if the criteria using which the summary financials are prepared is acceptable in view of the nature of the entity, requirements, information needs of the users, criteria, all that. Clear? The auditor shall include appropriate reference to this fact also, that you did audit as per the law, even though the criteria is not acceptable. And adequate, you must use a proper heading also. When you are preparing, when you are giving a report on summary financials, your heading in the audit report should reflect this. Engagements to report on or report on summary financial statements or by independent auditor of the entity. Likewise, like we have some standards on this, like we have taken certain examples. So 810. So you see this illustration 1, 810. Report of the independent auditor on summary financial statements. You see how they are giving the opinion. The accompanying financials which comprise summary, all this, getting it derived from audited financial statements for the year ended. So you must state that you are doing an audit of summary financial statements and also state that it is derived from audited financials. We expressed an unmodified opinion on the financial statements in our report, so and so audited financials. Those financials do not reflect events occurred subsequent to the date of our audit report. Now here, you are giving audit report on summary financials. You have originally given audit report on audited financials. Now obviously you have given audit report first on the audited financials. Let us assume it is on 12th May. Tata Motors. Suppose Tata Motors has asked you to give a report on summary financials also, for which you have given an audit report up to 10th June, on 10th June. Now tell me, when you are giving audit report on summary financial statements where you are dating audit report 10th June, will you consider events up to 10th June? Or will you consider events only up to 12th May? Exactly. Remember, it's only a report I am giving. But audit is completed on 12th May itself. The financials are prepared, which are of 31st March. Summary financials are derived from that only. Just that the report I am giving it on 10th June. So we need to mention in the audit report that no additional procedures were performed after the audit report date on the audited financial statements. So don't get confused by the date given in the report on the summary financials. That date is the date to confirm that on this date we gave a report. That's it. That date do not have any relevance. The relevant date of audit report, whether it is summary financials or audited financials, to interpret the results is main audit report. In main audit report, what is the date we use? That's the main relevant factor. And we also mentioned that in the audit report, the summary financial statements do not contain all the disclosures required by accounting standards. And we always expect reading the summary financial statements is not a substitute for reading audited. We mentioned this in the face of the audit report. And management is responsible for preparation of summary financial statements so that they are consistent with audited financial statements. Auditor responsibility is just to express an opinion on the summary, whether they were consistent or not. Using opinion. In our opinion, the summary financial statements derived from audited financial statements are a fair summary of those financials. We are not saying summary financials are true and fair. We are not saying summary financials are not true and fair because we didn't audit summary. You only have to tell whether summary financials are a fair summary of the audited, means are they proper summary of the audited. Whether the revision notes, is it derived from the main notes or not? That's it. Is revision notes correct or not? It's not. We are checking. Is it covering everything that is there in the main notes? Are you getting it? That's how the kind of opinion. Suppose you see illustration 4. Illustration 4. In illustration 4, denial of opinion. What they mentioned, in our audit report dated so and so, we expressed an adverse opinion. The basis for adverse opinion was described in so and so. Our adverse opinion is stated as so and so. You just mentioned why you have adverse, basis for adverse, all that in the same. And you will mention below, because of this matter, it is inappropriate to express an opinion on summary financials. Because I said everything is wrong. I'm not giving opinion on the audited financials. It is not correct for me to give opinion on summary. Getting it? So we are denying the opinion on the summary financial statement. Then on the audited financials, you have given an adverse opinion or disclaimer of opinion. Now, you should, before you do audit, before you accept the engagement, you should obtain agreement from the management regarding responsibilities. Management is responsible for preparation of financial statements, summary financials. Management is responsible to make audited financial statements available to the users without undue difficulty. So users of the summary financial statements must have access to audited financials. If at all it is not there, we will not accept that audit. Getting it? Now here, this question can be asked. Like the auditor's evaluation, whether audited financials are available to intended users without difficulty is affected by following factors. Nothing but I need to check whether management takes steps so that the audited financials are available to the users without any undue difficulty. What points I will check? I will check the following: whether summary financial statements clearly describe where the audited financials are available. So in the summary financials, they should mention audited financials are available on the website of the company. And the audited financial statements are on a public record. Just by Googling, they must get. Example. Management has established a process by which users of summary financials can obtain ready access to audited financials. How far management made the things ready so that users can easily get audited financials. So these three factors we have to consider. 4 marks question. What are the factors the auditor considers regarding the steps taken by the management so that the users of summary financial statements will have access to audited financial statements? Able to understand, by the way? Have you all read it once at least? And auditor has to include in the auditor report on the summary any document that contains summary financials that indicates that auditor has reported on them. We need to get an agreement management like this. Look, management, wherever you are including summary financial statements and wherever you are saying that they were audited, you must and should add my audit report also on the summary. Suppose you published in a document summary financials and you said that they are audited, but you are not attaching my audit report. That's absolutely wrong. Getting it? The same requirement is there in review also. SCA 2410. If auditor who has given a review report on the interim financial information, that review report is not included in a document published by the company which includes the interim financial information, and they are making a statement that they were audited. So they made a statement that they reviewed. So in such a case, that is not permitted. Form of opinion. agree with the management on the form of opinion to be expressed on interim financials. You just have to tell them in what form you will give an opinion. You will say that, sir, if at all they are consistent, we say that they are consistent. If they are not consistent, we say that they are not consistent. Now what I should do? Okay, fine, I have accepted the audit. I understood summary financial statements are prepared using proper criteria. It's acceptable criteria. Management also agreed for every terms and conditions. Everything is fine. Now I have to just start the audit procedure on the summary. What will I do? What procedures I will perform? You see here anywhere, they don't use the word audit procedure at all. They use the word simple procedures. Procedures on summary. First we will see whether summary financial statements disclose their nature of summarization. Are they disclosing clearly that they are a summary? And when summary financials are not accompanied with audited, whether they are describing clearly from where audited financials are available, or if the law regulations specify that audited financials need not be available to the users, of the summary financials, and establishes the criteria for preparation of financial statement, that this fact you need to mention. If at all you are preparing summary financial statements because of a law, and the law says users and all not require main financials, it's okay. The fact you have to mention. That fact has to be mentioned in the summary financial statements in the notes to accounts. Getting it? So you need to check whether summary financial statements in the notes are they describing from where we can get main financial statements. Able to understand? Next, see for summary, one example which I found is financial summary will be published by many public sector companies whenever their financial year is completed, audit and all were completed. They present financial statements in newspapers and all. Newspapers and all, they'll give you. Yes. This you see, for example, this is Union Bank. This is Union Bank. So Union Bank has published in all the leading newspapers, business magazines and all their summary financial statements. They are reviewed financial results. They are reviewed financial results. But this is probably full year. Sorry, this is for quarter ended and year ended, both. You see here, they have mentioned like a summary. They have mentioned only few points. And you see here, they have mentioned that the above is an extract from detailed yearly financial results filed with the stock exchange. And what they mentioned, the full format of the annual financials are available on the websites of stock exchanges. Are you getting it? So this is something similar to summary financial statements reporting or not? This is not summary financials as per HA 8, by the way. But is it in line with summary? So in the face of the newspaper where they presented itself, below they are mentioning they are extracted from so and so. Full financials are available in so and so. Such a kind of fact must be mentioned in the summary financials, and auditor has to check whether company presented like that or not. Getting it? Next. And whether summary financials are prepared and presented, are they disclosing the criteria? Obviously, even in the normal financials also, on what basis you prepare, you should disclose, right? In the summary financials also, on what basis it is prepared, it has to be disclosed. Okay, fine. I saw summary financials, they are disclosing all this. Now, I will compare summary financials with the audited financials. Then, whatever necessary information I want, so that it is not misleading, I will just check whether summary financials are presenting necessary information which is required for the user's understanding, so that it is not misleading. And see that audited financial statements are genuinely made available to the users of the financial statements, summary financial statements, without undue difficulty. These procedures I perform. Straight away this question can be asked. Straight away this question can be asked. 4 marks question. And yesterday, like the student has shared me the how many marks it has come, all that. Yeah, share. Name another. 48 marks in the descriptive questions only from standard. As I told, 60%. 70 into 6, how much? In fact, not 60, more than that. Getting it? 48 marks are only from the standards, and these are the one which are tested. 501, 505. Both are there in CA Inter. And both of them are asked in compulsory question. No choice. In the CA final audit material, they have not given 501, 505 text itself. They just gave a diagram. Getting it? And 701, 705. 402. SQC 1, 540, 560, 706, 705 one question, 720 one question. On audit reporting itself, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost like 4 to 5 questions came from audit report MTP. And SA 810, SRE 2400. I told already 810 I started, by the way, coincidental. I have not seen this fully. Now only I'm seeing, okay. So clear. 48 marks only in descriptive. Probably in MCQs also some 10-12 marks might have come. So easily 60 marks. Easily 60 marks. 50% weightage of the 120 marks. Okay. But if you study standards perfectly, ethics perfectly, and 2-3 chapters extra perfectly, damn sure you'll get 60%. Okay. You know, like now, like I don't know. See, like I feel very stupid about many students. In auditing CA Inter, what happened is in MTP, true or false questions are not there. Earlier, we have 14 marks true or false questions. If it is not there, tell me what's going to happen. Nothing, right? Just that to that extent, descriptive question will be there. Does it change our study approach? Students are messaging me. Sir, what should I do now? I feel like go and die. I feel like replying like this. What happens? And I'm seeing in Instagram all the posts. Now start writing more, practice more. Stupids. They don't know. You should tell them read number of times, more number of times, not writing. If you write notes, it will eat so much amount of your time. You read 10 times. That's best. Writing is equal to 10 times reading. Never. You read 10 times, you see the impact. Necessary information. So is it showing or not? We should check. And audited financials are available to the user or not? We do check. So this question can be asked as a 4 marks question. What is the form of opinion in the summary financials? So we just mentioned whether summary financials are consistent in all material respects with applied criteria, or we just mentioned that summary financial statements are a fair summary or not. If law is not containing any words, suppose if the law is saying any words, same procedures you apply, whether summary financials are consistent with audited financials, above procedures, so we read summary financials all that, and see whether users of summary financials might misunderstand the opinion on the summary. If so, any additional explanation is required, because no, you are not giving opinion as per standard wordings. Standard wordings are cleverly designed, keeping in view everybody's needs. But lawmaker, when they are presenting law, they may not consider like this. So see whether any additional explanation you have to give in the audit report on the summary financials, so that you can mitigate the risk of misinterpretation. If at all you feel you cannot misinterpret, you cannot reduce that, you cannot mitigate that, don't accept that engagement. Suppose if the acceptance of audit of summary financials is compulsory, then you don't refer about standard on auditing. Standard says very simple, touch me not. If at all you're not following my rules, if you follow law, go and follow that only. Don't touch about, don't give any reference to my name. If at all the law requirements are not matching with my requirements. Getting the point? Next. What are the elements of summary financials? We have seen the report itself. There will be a title, there will be an addressee, there will be an introduction para, where in the introduction you will refer to each summary item, and you also refers to where it is derived from audited. You also mentioned that you have given an audit report on audited financial statements, and you need to mention the fact whether what opinion you express. If it is unmodified, unmodified, qualified opinion, qualified, emphasis of matter paragraph, other matter paragraph. Suppose adverse opinion is given on the audited financials, disclaimer is given, then we deny the opinion. And date of summary financial statements, and obviously it is different from audited. The date of auditor's report on summary is obviously later than the date of audit report on audited. And remember, because it is later, people may think that up to the date of audit report on summary financials, auditor considered effect of all the events and all. No, they do not reflect events that occurred subsequent to the date of audit report on audited financials. Understand? Observe. Okay. Next. And we need to mention the fact that summary financial statements is not a substitute for audited. Have we seen the same thing in the report or not? Illustration. And we need to mention who are responsible, what are the responsibilities of management, what are the responsibilities of auditor, and opinion para. If they are consistent, they are consistent. And you need to mention what opinion you gave in the audited financials, if it is qualified or unqualified, or emphasis or other paragraph. If it is other opinions, adverse disclaimer, we don't give the opinion. and date of the audit report. The auditor shall date the auditor report on summary financials not earlier than the date on which he has obtained sufficient appropriate evidence on which he based the opinion that summary financials are prepared by recognized authority, that they have taken responsibility, and the date of auditor's report on audited financials. Obviously, right? Can I complete audit of summary financial statements before audit of main financials? Obviously not. Yes or no? Because I don't do summary financials audit specifically. I just compare them with the main financials. If main financials are true and fair and I give opinion of that, then from that only our summary financials related audit report. This can be tested as an MCQ. And place of the signature. Modifications to the opinion, emphasis of matter, other matter paragraph in the audit report on audited financials. Suppose in audited financials, no, they gave a qualified opinion or they included emphasis of matter, other matter paragraph. In the summary financials, you say that they are consistent. If they are consistent, you say that they are consistent. But all summary financials are not at all consistent. In audited financials, we give unqualified opinion. Everything is good. But summary is not properly derived from audited. In such a case, what we do? We will give adverse opinion on the summary. They are not a fair summary. Suppose they are matching. In that case, we say that they are matching with the main financials. But observe, on that main financials, I have provided audit report. I gave unmodified report. This is my date of audit report. On the main financials, I gave qualified opinion. This is the reason I qualified. This is what I did. And this is the date of audit report mentioned. If it is emphasis of matter or other matter paragraph, key audit matter, material uncertainty related to going concern, all that, just mention it. Suppose if the main financial statements contain adverse opinion or disclaimer, mention that you cannot give opinion because of this fact. It is inappropriate for you to give opinion. Can you read this on your own? For sure you can understand. Because I spent initially itself depth. Okay. This content absolutely you can read. Now, in this, the fifth point I have not covered. Now, remember, summary financial statements are not a public document. Audited financial statements which are prepared using general purpose framework could be a public document. Again, audited financial statements prepared using special purpose framework and from which summary is derived. In that case, both are private documents. Special purpose financial statements are confidential, understand? They are not for other users. Now, when summary financial statements are such that they are not meant for others, company must have procedures to restrict the distribution. They cannot distribute just like that the audited financials. In that case, when distribution or use of audit report on audited financials is restricted, if audited financials itself is restricted, the auditor shall include a similar restriction or alert in the summary financials. Generally, audited financial statements use and distribution is restricted for which financials? Special purpose financials. Suppose if audited financials are general purpose financials, there is no such restriction. General purpose financials, anybody can take and anybody can use and take a decision. But remember, special purpose financials are prepared for special purpose user, special user. Only he will understand the information given in the special purpose financials properly. Others cannot. Next, comparatives. Just like in audited financials also, in summary financials, comparative information can be presented. So audit report on summary financial statement shall also contain matters required by 710. So when you are giving audit report on audited financials, you are talking about comparative prior period financial statements are audited by other auditor. Prior period financials are not audited. You are giving reporting requirement. Remember, corresponding figures. Same points you should also report. You should also mention in the audit report given on summary financial statements. Suppose along with summary, some supplementary information is presented. You just have to see whether it is integral to summary or not. If it is integral to summary, your opinion on the summary will also cover that supplement. If it is not integral, see whether it is presented separately, clearly distinct from this. If not, highlight it. Ask management to do it, to rectify it. Same way, suppose I am publishing a document, a big report I am filing with some SEBI or somebody. Inside that summary financials are also there. You should clearly mention in the audit report on summary financials that you have not audited other information. Same other information, 720 responsibility. Understood or not? Next, auditor's response. If entity is not including, this can be asked as a 4 marks question. Of course, see, previously also they can, but this is something which you will not observe. Auditor's response, if the entity is not including report on summary financial statements in a document containing such financial statements, or auditor has not audited summary financials. Suppose you have not audited summary, but They are presenting the summary financials in a report, in a document they are publishing. In that they are mentioning that it is audited. Or they are mentioning that it is audited. Good, I have audited, and they are also mentioning that it is audited. But I have given audit report, right? On the summary, they are not including. What should I respond? If auditor becomes aware that entity plans to state that the auditor has reported on summary in a document containing summary but does not plan to include the related audit report, request the management to include the audit report. Sir, you said, yeah, I have audited. Give my report also. Why are you publishing only summary financials and say that this is audited? Give my report. My report contains much more valuable information. If management is not doing so, auditor shall carry out other procedures, take a legal advice, all that. Sometimes no, you are engaged to report on the financial statements of the entity, main financials, but you are not engaged to report on summary. That case, the auditor came to know that entity plans to make a statement in a document that refers to auditor and refer the fact that summary financials are derived from main financials, which is audited by the auditor. Suppose they are saying they are publishing main financials audit report, they are publishing summary, and they are mentioning that summary financials are derived from main financials, which are audited by so-and-so auditor. It is confusing to the reader, right? Reader might think what summary is also verified by. In such a case, the reference to the auditor is made in the context of audit report on audited financials. Get a clarity on this. Whether clearly the reference is given. The statement does not give an impression that auditor has reported on summary. If any of these two statements are not there clearly, the auditor will request management to change the statement so that people will not have an impression that I have audited on summary financials. Management does not change the statement. Please advise the management and disagree with the reference in the auditor and carry out any other appropriate action so that you can prevent a reliance of the people. Then what about subsequent events, all that? Generally, we need not obtain evidence after the date of audit report on audited financials. But if any facts came to the knowledge of auditor after the date of audit report, which for which the event is happened before the date of audit report, but fact came to the knowledge of audit report, but if had it been known to him at the time of the audit report, would have caused him to amend the audit report, SA 560 procedure. That's it. Standard is over. Easy or not? All of you?